Hey there everybody, it's Dr. Steve from Elevate Sport and Spine, and I want to talk to you today about breathing. Good breathing should be the foundation of any good rehab program, so I just want to go over a few different types of breathing that people do, which ones are better than others, what symptoms you may have if you are more of a bad breather versus a good breather, and how you might be able to fix it with some simple, just kind of mindfulness breathing type exercises. So let's just hop into it. So the primary way that we should breathe while we're doing any exercise or anything is by using our diaphragm, which causes us to breathe more from our abdomen or our belly. So that belly breathing is more of a kind of natural way to breathe. If you ever look at babies breathing when they're laying on their backs and stuff like that, they really are just kind of breathing from their belly. And somewhere along the line we get into this dysfunctional kind of stressful breathing pattern where most of that moves into these accessory muscles in our chest, which can cause neck tightness, shoulder tightness, back stiffness, and pain. So if we can't fix those breathing patterns, then those types of things will tend to persist. The third type of breathing is a thing called paradoxical breathing, and I can demonstrate that for you, but it tends to be more like pathologic purely, where there's some sort of injury that's taken place that causes people to do this, and it needs to be managed medically. But I'll just show you kind of what it might look like. So we're just going to put this down here, and we'll first demonstrate kind of a good breathing technique, which is breathing through our belly here. Let me get my arm out of the way. And what you're going to want to see when we're taking in breaths is that really it's just the belly sort of expanding and contracting. And when doing this, we want to try to fill that all the way up, and we can get even down to this lowest section here if we really focus on that breath there as we let it out. So this is a good reflexive way of breathing. It doesn't tax our system very much, and it keeps us kind of calm. A good way to train this is to put both of your hands to give yourself some weight into your belly here like this. So when you take in a deep breath, you have some resistance to work into. And if you want to work on that really low belly breathing, you can bring those hands even further down, or put a light weight of some sort, maybe a light kettlebell, you know, nothing too terribly heavy, just 5 pounds or so that you have something to kind of push out into. The more common dysfunctional type of breathing that I see is chest breathing. I'm going to slide this up just a little bit. And what happens there is that we start, you know, trying to breathe a little bit more using these extra respiratory muscles, like things in our scalenes, our upper traps, and our back muscles and our intercostals to do breathing. And this type of breathing is fine when it's called for. So like when we're exercising really vigorously and we need more air to get in there, you know, rapidly, this is a good way to breathe. But for this to be the default way to breathe is not really right. So you'll see the difference if I breathe my chest, that everything sort of raises up here, but I am capable, if I do that belly breathing like we talked about, of keeping that chest pretty much out of it. So a good way to kind of do this is to do what I'm doing right now, which is to kind of film myself, and I can watch, you know, as I take a breath in and see my chest raise as I do that versus how it feels when I breathe in with my belly. And just sort of work on those. The other way, if you can't do that, is to just kind of put your hand on your chest here or up on your collarbones and feel for that movement to happen, and try and find a way to quiet that down by really focusing on breathing in through the belly. So keeping one hand on the belly and one hand on the chest here like this as we breathe can help give us the feedback that we need to avoid kind of doing those types of breath. And then that last type of breath that I was talking about is called paradoxical breathing. And what that is that people often, not often, well, with this condition, will breathe in with their chest and their diaphragm will move up, so they'll get this kind of hollowing that happens here like this. And what that does is it restricts how much breath you can get, and it's common in a couple of neurological disorders and in mineral deficiencies and with injuries. So if you're dealing with something like that, if that looks like a familiar breathing pattern to you, I would encourage you to get that checked out. Otherwise, I would spend some time working on this belly breath and learning how to integrate it into your other rehab exercises and things like that, so that you're really focusing on keeping your core engaged while we're breathing and things like that. So hopefully that helps. shed a little bit of light on better breathing habits for you here in the new year, and just work on those things, get it into your regular exercise routine, and it should help with your overall health and well-being. If you have any questions about any of that stuff, you can always reach out to me here at the clinic, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. Other than that, have a great day. We'll see you next time. Take care.